Well, what we try to do based on the contract is to do whatever we can do to make sure that we're doing the best for the community. So around us here is a very tight community. We've got Miami Children's Museum, less than 100 yards. We've got Jungle Island. We've got Star, Hibiscus, and Palm Island. We've got the Venetian, as you can see, the high-rise behind me. So what we want to do is to do a couple things, and that's quality of life issues. The first issue is to make sure that noise is not an issue, to make sure that dust is not an issue, to make sure the capacity flow maintains and remains the same, and that as we build this tunnel, that we're not impeding in any way the economy and people's hope to do something of which they want to do. So it's really been a tightrope of a walk. Where we're at right now, one of the most controversial things is originally coming in, because we're right on the bay, we had hoped as part of our proposal to barge all of the spoils. What we wanted to do is we wanted to take all the spoils that come out of the tunnel, we were going to put them on a barge, and then we were going to barge all of the spoils out to Virginia Key, and then that spoils was going to be used to cap the landfill to try to bring that back, clean it up for recreational, both passive and active recreational opportunities. But what happened as time went on is the bay that's right behind me, Biscayne Bay, is a very shallow bay. Matter of fact, this island, Palm, Hibiscus, Star, and others, was created because when they dug the bay out here for the big ships, that's how they created these other islands here. So to get a barge into Biscayne, or through Biscayne Bay, over to Virginia Key, would have required that we actually dredge part of Virginia Key, which just is not feasible, both environmentally and economically. And then unfortunately, as a result of that, we had to go back to what the contract dictated, which is to truck the spoils. So that's what we're doing now. Behind me is the area that we are now constructing to take the spoils out. At peak time, we're going to have about 300 trucks a day. That's about a truck every 10 minutes. It's a massive operation. But within that, what we're going to be doing is we are going to make sure that we do this as much as nighttime as possible and off-peak times. So when I say peak, there's probably going to be about a 2-month period where we have that. Right now, we'll probably be somewhere between 100 and 150 trucks a day. But with that, we have to be careful. We have to make sure that when the trucks are here and they're lined up in a queue, that they're not running. We'll have turn off your engine. We'll make sure that everything is draped and that they can't carry the spoils, which will have the consistency of toothpaste. So it's not going to be a soft, sandy dust that's going to be blowing everywhere. So then we're going to take that and we're going to bring that to 4 other landfills around Miami-Dade County. Right now, today, as we speak, we've extricated Virginia Key from a point of where we're going to bring this material. We'll work with all the stakeholders on Virginia Key to see if, in fact, at some point in time, that might be a good place, based both on the science of the soil, but also based on the acceptance of the community. We do not want to do what people don't want us to do. We're part of a public-private partnership, and part of that is a partnership with the community. So we want to continue that.
So what you're saying is, if it doesn't get
Right. The soil right now does meet the standards based on DERM, and I think that there's a comfort level now with the leaders, both in where are we? Key Biscayne? Yeah, Key Biscayne. Both in Key Biscayne and Virginia Key, there's an understanding now that, again, we didn't say we want to dump there. The city came to us and said, we need topsoil, we need sand, we need dirt to put on top of this landfill as we begin to start pumping stations to make sure that everything that needs to be in place environmentally is going to be there.
Now, I know that you guys are injecting, there's limestone in the base for the tunnel.
Yeah.
What are you injecting?
We're injecting a common polymer that softens the rock. And for us to do that, we had to give this formula for that polymer to DERM. So we've had our own scientists look at it, as well as DERM had to look at it. and Durham has to have a comfort level of which they do. That the toxins aren't in there, and in fact, it gets us the highest you can get is residential fill. So we've got that, but that's today. So we got to make sure we have that tomorrow. So with that, we have a responsibility to do ongoing testing, both which we're going to do, but even more importantly, Durham will require us to do.
How long will that testing go on? Will you keep on testing even after?
Yes, that test. Once it says everything's fine and we've got a clean bill of health, we'll still continue to test.
So years after?
Years after, yeah.
So are they also going to test the water, the runoff from the landfill then?
Oh, but that's a separate issue. But yeah, right now there's 45 million out there from the county and the city as part of a master plan to start testing wells. There's groundwater contamination in that area. And so what they got to do is they've got to build the wells to start pumping out the contaminated groundwater and to clean it and treat it. So that's part of a separate issue, but yes, that'll have to be done.
Are they concerned that runoff will go into the bay? If it does be toxic one day and go into the bay, what are their remedial?
Well, that's part of the master plan, and I think people need to be vigilant to make sure that in fact this has been in the hopper for quite some time, with or without our spoils, and the 45 million voted on by the city and the county is there, and that kind of lay fallow for some time, and now we know through Director Sosa of Capital Improvement in the city of Miami that they're moving forward. So you got to remain vigilant. As with every environmental concern that people have, everybody acts better when they're watched. So that's the responsibility of everybody to make sure that we do the right thing, the city does the right thing, and the county does the right thing. And that happens through activism and making sure that people are diligent in preserving that for now and the future.